Hey everyone, Jim Gonzalez here, EDI Support LLC. It's another Wednesday. It's not as nice today. It's a little gloomy. Actually makes me tired. Whenever it's about to rain and it looks pretty gloomy, that's how I feel. But I hope you're all doing well. So today what I want to talk about is thinking of migrating from one managed EDI provider to another. And there's some things that I want to tell you and I want to talk about today because I actually have a newer client that we're helping, and I'm actually helping them personally because they're moving from one provider, and I'm trying not to say the names. So they're moving from capital S EDI managed provider to capital O EDI managed provider. This client has no EDI people on staff. They have no EDI knowledge. They're been tasked with making the move from SPS, oops, I said it, SPS to another organization. So with that slip. But anyways, so they're migrating, they're moving their systems. They're in the order to cash, so they're a distributor of products. It's a little crazy that the company that they're moving to is also not hand-holding. The individuals that are on the call, and of course I'm on there with this client, they brought us on as the EDI knowledge broker, and we're literally having to navigate, grab raw EDI. We're having to work out with the ERP system. So this case, they're dealing with EOStar. They're having to do their own testing in and out of EOStar. They're having to provide sample files of what an inbound looks like into EOStar and an outbound from EOStar. And this client had no idea that they were going to have to be this far involved at all. They kind of figured it was hey, we're a managed service provider. We'll take you from beginning to end and we'll handle everything for you. That's what they were sold. But what's happening in reality is they need EDI knowledge. They need an understanding of how an EDI implementation works, how to collect the data, how to test integration, how to do all these things that they never thought that they were going to have to do, because they were having problems with the first entity, and most of it was customer service focused. Most of it was just not getting back to them on time, and all of these things. And a lot of, again, weren't being handheld, weren't feeling as though it was a partner. They were feeling more as though they were a number. So they decided to make the migration. They did their own research. They got into all of this without ever talking to me or anybody at my company. So these selections and this movement has already been put in motion well before even talking to us. Where they scrambled is they had to now, seeing what this involvement is by the new team, and the new team asking questions, asking for samples, asking for all these different pieces, filling out documentation. I mean, some of the documentation, I'll be honest, I was looking at it and I was scratching my head. And I've been doing this for a long time. You know, I've seen a lot of different things in all kinds of different industries. And some of these questions, I was like, what? Like, how can you hand this questionnaire to a client and expect them to know how to fill this out? Like, not a walkthrough. Here's your questionnaire. You fill it out. Like, do you need cross references? Do you need duplicate checking? And those are the easy ones. The other ones that get a little bit more complicated is, which network are you going to use? Because we have various different networks. Well, how do I know? What was I sold? I mean, it's to the fact that I had to go through their existing, grab all the trading partner names, all the qualifiers, all the IDs, all the raw EDI, and I'm going through and I'm providing them and telling them if the mapping looks good, mapping doesn't look good, all of these different things that they should be handling. So that's the premise and the reason for me wanting to get this word out of watch who you hire and what you do, and ask them what type of managed services do they offer. Is this a full-fledged hand-holding where they're going to do everything? They're going to talk to your ERP people. They're going to talk to your trading partners. You just need to give them the contacts. They're going to log into your existing EDI platform and try to obtain as much information as they can, because that's what they hired these people for. They shouldn't have to pay EDI Support LLC to come in as a consultant to make sure that the job gets done successfully, to make sure that the project is managed successfully. This is why a lot of people wonder how I and my team get to see all these different platforms and understand these different platforms, because we get pulled in on these engagements. Yeah, they're not long-term engagements, but they're helping these clients get over these hurdles and get things up and running. And if these service entity providers would realize, oh my God, we're leaving all this on the table for our clients. Maybe set up tiers, maybe figure out what you want to offer. My thing is offer them beginning to end, because guess what? It's like we do in my company is we play hot potato. When things come onto our desk, we like to get them off of our desk. That means mapping, that means project management, that means getting implementations done. We want to move on to the next, and we want to be able to help clients and get those clients up and running. So if anybody's taking notice, my little guy's in the corner here. He's walking around. He's a little old man. But anyways, that's why I also have dog treats all behind my desk, because I am a dog person. So anyways, I have to share that personal insight. So you hear little nails across the hardwood floors, it's him. But what I'm getting at is asking them what level of service are they going to give you? How much involvement do they really need from you and your team, and maybe possibly an outside entity like an EDI Support LLC to help you get through it? The questions you should ask them to understand what they need to take care of are those things. Do you need the trading partner contacts? Do you need the trading partner mapping guidelines? Do you need the trading partner communications? Do I have to obtain the raw EDI of the samples that we are currently sending that are being approved? Do we have to be involved with our ERP or WMS or TMS system for the integration? Or are we just simply gathering the contact information of the trading partners, of the systems that are involved, and handing it to your team, and your team's going to take care of everything? Where I don't need to have EDI knowledge, project management, EDI implementation understanding, integration understanding, API, all of the stuff that could be involved with this. Reading maps, setting up conditions. There's a lot involved in an EDI implementation from a standpoint of getting everything done. A lot of people don't understand all of those moving parts. A lot of people think it's easier said than done, because here's the problem is you might not have people that understand networking, that understand file manipulation, that understands conditional lookups, pre-processing, post-processing, all of those things that could be part of you moving from one service entity to another service entity. And that's the reality. So don't get caught where you're now a month and a half, 2 months into this, and you're going, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. I don't see this getting done. And now you're scrambling to find a company or individuals like us to give you help. Not saying we won't take the work and not saying that we won't help you, but at least if you know you're going to have that added cost as part of your migration from one service provider to another service provider, you can plan it out. And sometimes it doesn't look as cheap as what you think, or cost effective, or down and dirty, or however you want to call it. So understand what's your role in this migration, what's not your role in this migration. What are they going to do? And the way of setting yourself up for success without depending on them is, if you've never done it before, finding somebody that can teach you or do it or assist or however you look at it. Because you're not going to just hop behind the wheel of a car. Well, you could. But most people don't just hop behind the wheel of a car and all of a sudden they know how they're driving and they're going to do 100 miles an hour. Okay. If you get with somebody that can train you and teach you and has done this numerous hundreds, thousands of times, been involved, whatever, people that do it on a regular basis can give you that insight. But understand that insight is typically not free. Like, a lot of people reach out and they're like, oh, well, can't you just give me a guide? Well, every scenario is different. Every implementation is somewhat different. There's different things that need to be done. The overall, yeah, I could put together a guide of how to implement, how to do a migration, how to do those things, but it's not going to cover every piece. And you might get mad because I didn't cover a certain thing that's underneath your implementation or your migration. So what I'm getting at is, some of these are considered migrations where you're moving from one system to another. And some of these entities treat it like it's almost a brand new implementation because they want everything. And we try to get everything when we're setting up systems. Don't get me wrong. We want guidelines. We want raw EDI. We want trading partner. We want their qualifiers, IDs, whatever communication is being used. All of those things so that we can make sure that we're successful, because we need data to put through the system to make sure it's processing and doing comparisons and all of those wonderfulness. But with us, we just want access. Give me access to your existing system. Give me access to the trading partners that you're dealing with. Give me access to the information. If I have access, it's my job as part of your implementer or as your migration, figuring out and going through that data and then posing questions to you and saying, hey, here's something that's not covered. I'm just curious. So please go through, sit down. I know a lot of times the sad part is upper level management usually makes the decision and they say, hey, we're just changing. And you got to fall in line. You got to follow suit. You got to do all of those things. Be prepared. Sit down and review what you're getting and what you're not getting. This company is literally, we've asked for access to the portal. What does the portal look like? I want to see the portal. I want to see, how can I go in? What are the reporting features? What are the error notifications? What are your trading partners? Can I access the trading partners? Can I look at their versions? Can I look at what maps are assigned? How much access do I get? Or is it done primarily behind the scenes? So you want to be able to see also, what are you getting visibility to? And what are you not getting visibility to? Even though it's a managed service. So these are the questions and these are the things that hopefully through this, and you see this video, it'll start to resonate. It'll start to make sense. It'll start to kick up the questions that are in your head. And if it doesn't, and I'm still seeming as though I'm talking gibberish or whatever, you can always reach out. you can call us, you can email us, you can check out our Discord, you can do all of those things. And hopefully we can help you out. Hopefully we can lead you to success, because that's ultimately what we want. I don't care who you use. I don't care who you select. That's on you. It's not on me. I'm going to sleep okay at night. Would I prefer you to use certain companies? All day long. Because I know you're going to get taken care of, and I know there's going to be a better level of customer service. I know all of those things. It resonates also where I had somebody reach out that said, hey, listen, I just want to be up with EDI, and I get this a lot. I just want cheap, low cost, quick, dirty, the whole 9 yards. That's not EDI Support LLC, I can tell you that. So what I do is I basically tell people the truth, provide them a solution, provide them an answer as to what they're looking at. And we have a question. I have a question. Lately, I've been getting a lot of recruiters ask me about knowledge building APIs. Do you feel that is a new requirement within the EDI future? Yes. Yes, I do. API, EDI, in my mind, it all falls under integration. It all falls and is encompassed in the EDI world. Because remember, API is connecting one server to another server. Okay. Being access and accessible to the data. So what's on the menu for you to be able to get at. And then when you make that call for the data, that data comes out and it's either going to be in a JSON file format or it's going to be in XML. So as an API, those are the things. And again, this also comes into when you're dealing with migrations, implementations, and you're doing those type of things, is understanding how is the interaction? Is it, when you're dealing with that ERP or you're dealing with that WMS or TMS, they're going to want to know, is it a data file? Is it XML? Is it JSON? How are they ingesting data or exporting data? So what is the means? Is it an API? Is it, data file? Whatever. And then they want samples, and then they want testing, and then think of it. This is not something that you snap your fingers and overnight, all of a sudden, it's just an implementation is done and migrations are done. Hopefully, and I feel as though, because the client has told me that we are helping, we're getting things aligned, we're getting the data now moving, we're getting things accomplished. And we're hopefully getting, because we can see that light at the end of the tunnel. Now, is there still a lot of involvement? Yep. Because we're testing, we're talking to EOStar, we're doing all of those things. And it's almost like we're an extension of that managed service, because really, in my mind, that's what they should be doing. They should be doing all of that, because that's what you pay them for. And that's what a lot of people think they're getting. They don't think they're getting where they're going to need EDI knowledge and they're going to need somebody like us. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate everybody, watching our videos, like our channels, comments, give advice, give me information. I'm always all about learning and seeing how things can go and grow, especially in the EDI and the API and integration world. So until next Wednesday, Jim Gonzalez, EDI Support LLC. Reach out anytime you have a question, anytime you have a need. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and take care.